Welcome, Mekenzi, to Messages from the Medicine, Unpacking the Gift, Integration Interview number one with the Queen, Mekenzi.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It's an honor to be here.
So, you have just been through quite the hero's journey,
Yes.
like an epic,
Yes.
epic 4 days, 3 days
Yeah.
of perpetual ceremony.
Yep.
So, what is alive within you now?
Yeah.
What's present for you in this current space
Oh man.
you're holding?
I feel like so much. I think that I came here to face a lot of block trauma. I felt like there was a lot of really heavy things that I had not yet seen and that I needed to see to move forward maybe. And I think that's kind of what I expected out of it. And it was really interesting with the mushroom journey. I had some of those dark things and I would start to chase them and be like, okay, I'm going to surrender to the medicine. I'm going to allow it to show me what it needs to show me. It's okay to be afraid. I'm just going to surrender. And the whole time yesterday and then today with the Bufo, it was just bright light, heaven, divine, just rebirth. I come from a lot of trauma, a history of being trafficked by my adopted father, and a lot of loss and a lot of self-harm and hurt and pain. And it is not what I expected it to be, and it is far more beautiful and greater than I could ever hope it to be. And so I, even today, going to ceremony with Whitney, she asked if there were any words for me that were present, and for me it was rebirth and thrive. I felt like yesterday was such a rebirth for me, and then every year I try to choose a word to focus on, and thrive was my word. And yesterday, going on the mushroom journey, like I said, it was just bright light and heaven and divine and heavenly mother and father and all the divine beings that I believe in. And I saw myself go back to the first cell of when I was created and being reborn in the most pure and holy form, and just kind of like a slideshow of my life, of seeing all the good things and beautiful things that I have done and created, and taking those pieces of me um, and putting them back into me, almost like, what do they say? Like little girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. The old saying, at least my grandma used to say that all the time. And that's what it felt like. I was able to take that, and on that journey, I was able to heal a lot of relationships, even strained ones that I didn't think were strained. And I was able to forgive and let go and honor. And um, I just was astonished by the bright, beautiful light of rebirth. And I didn't see any block trauma or anything, because I realized that I have already done so much work, and I just haven't given myself the credit or the honor of what I've done, that I didn't need it, that I've done so much groundwork to get me here, that it was just time for me to have a complete rebirth. And so, rebirth and thrive. And then today with Bufo, very similar experience, just kind of bring it all together. It's like it is the God molecule, where it's everything combusts, everything that you've ever known, or what you've thought to be true, or what you've perceived to be a limiting belief about yourself or others. It just gets blown to smithereens, and it just gets, all these molecules come together and create something so beautiful and divine. And so I just, it's beautiful. And my intention yesterday when we were setting intentions for mushrooms, it was to be the love that I've always deserved, that I wanted to become that love. And it just became so apparent through my journeys that it's like I've already been that love. I've relied so heavily on external validation and the love of others, or always needing somebody present. And having someone to love is beautiful, and having someone love you is such a beautiful gift. And it does add to your happiness. But all the love I've ever needed is here. It's always been here. And the trauma and all the things I've experienced has has been hard and it's been difficult to feel that love. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was the only one that was punishing myself of not feeling worthy of that love and that divine light and beauty. And so I was just able to just shatter the ceiling of just all these labels and all these things and shed that skin and step into something new. Yeah, it's been beautiful.
So, because it's so fresh, if you were to attempt to describe to someone in our audience that may have never experienced this grace, this divine, unconditional love and light that you were just basking in and merging with, like, what would you describe that experience as like?
Better than anything you could ever comprehend. It's so beautiful and so personable and to what you need, and who shows up on your journey, that it's so much more divine that your mind can even comprehend. You think of the most glorious thing of what heaven or what your alternative universe or whatever may be, and it's 100 times that. Just beautiful and awe-inspiring and just full of divine light and love.
And if you were to take a moment to really connect with that energy, that space within you, what and to attempt to articulate into words any messages from that grace, from that light, from that love, any messages of, you know, what it was speaking to in you, in Mekenzi, and in the collective experience of being alive on planet Earth and these human incarnations. Like, what if you can give some words to that infinite experience?
Yeah, I think, during Bufo today, it was just such a, like, similar to the mushroom experience, that a slideshow of just life is so precious and life is so short and there is so much love and divine and beauty in everything. This was kind of weird, but before the ceremonies, I had a phobia of spiders. I don't know what kind of spiders you guys have here, but there's a big black guy that's been hanging out, a little tarantula or something, and he's just been hanging out. And every time I walk past him, I'd get really, like, nervous and afraid, and I'd be like, please don't jump at me, please don't jump at me. And then I'm like, maybe, and then after I came out of Bufo, I'm like, maybe he's just here to teach me that, like, he's nothing to be afraid of, that I put these limiting beliefs on myself for whatever reason. And all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have pet him, but I walked past him and I'm just like, thank you. Thank you for being a teacher. Like, in this moment, showing me that, like, I do these things to myself where I make myself unnecessarily fearful or irrationally fearful of things, and so I just feel like there are just so many downloads and little, like, zips and zaps that are coming. And so it's like, everything is a teacher, everything is a lesson, everything is a gift if we are willing to turn inside and ask what it is teaching us. And I lost my birth mother this last year, and I went to her funeral, and she's very, she loves butterflies. She's very, like, into butterflies. That's her thing. And I actually, before I came here, I booked an appointment because I'm like, I'm going to get a little butterfly tattoo in her honor. And after my Bufo ceremony, I was out journaling in the hot tub, and a big, beautiful orange butterfly landed just right next to me. And I, like, went to go look at her, and she's beautiful, and I just saw my mother in her, and I went to get close, and she fluttered away, and so much of me in the past would want to chase her, like, where are you going? Why are you leaving? But she left because she came and taught me and said hi and gave me the love that I needed, and then she went on her way, and I've noticed her fluttering out there. And so just that time in life is so precious, and it is such a gift to be here, to exist, to breathe, to be in the presence of beautiful human beings. And so just the willingness to be able to look within, because there's so much to learn when we allow ourselves to look in.
I feel so moved by the depth of your love and
Thank you.
gratitude for life and your courage. I also resonate. In the beginning of my psychedelic journeys, I was really like, my intention was like, let's get in there, like
Yes.
let's go into the depths of hell,
Yes.
like let's unpack all my trauma. Like I was so gung-ho and willing of like, yeah, show me all my suppressed shit that's
Yeah.
ruling
Yes.
me, show me all the trauma that's embedded in me and is running my subconscious. And very similar to you, where like I would go in with that intention, like it, expecting it to be so hard, so heavy, so difficult. And I would just be like flung up
Yes.
into like God,
Yes.
just complete overwhelming inundation of God's grace, light, love, just like oozing, beaming love. And yeah, just I feel like, we have been through the school of hard knocks. Like we have carried the burden of some very heavy karma and been victimized and, been through so much. And I feel like the medicine is just like remember, remember what's behind and what's beyond all of that.
Yes.
Remember the truth of love,
Right.
divinity, like, all these things that can be forgotten or clouded over and obscured by trauma. Like remember the purity of like your original soul.
What you were created for.
Yeah, that's like
how you were created.
Yeah. And that that experience of the beauty and the goodness and the love, like it just, has the power to transform everything. When that imprints so deeply and you have that as an anchor within you, how do you relate, or how are you have there been any insights or revelations with regards to all that you've endured in the past, like such inhumane, unimaginable mistreatment of your sacred being?
Yeah, it was really interesting through the mushroom journey. I saw my abuser or other people who've hurt me and caused me pain, and I met, like I said, a lot of people on my journey who I needed to make peace with, and I saw them as their wounded child, as their wounded self. And it doesn't make the mistreatment and the trauma right. It doesn't justify it, but it helps me better understand that they too were acting out of a wounded place and a hurt place. And I think I've carried around a burden for so long, like, why didn't you love me the way I was meant to be loved? And it was like, no one ever showed you that love. You were not even taught that self-love. You didn't even love yourself. How could I expect you to love me that way? And that was kind of an interesting like shock to me, I guess, is that I carried around so much resentment that I wasn't loved in the way that I wanted, but there was never any grace given to those who hurt me to say they don't even love themselves. It's not fair to say you need to love me wholeheartedly because you don't even love yourself. And Kinsey, you haven't loved yourself wholeheartedly till a couple days ago, and so it all kind of came full circle for me, just that divine grace of God in the universe, that it's like that is real, that power is real. And I felt that, I think, truly for the first time, that divine grace that we are so often given is the same grace I was able to give to the people who have hurt me. Yeah.
Yeah, that line of like, forgive them, they know not what they do.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And so moving forward, is there anything that you feel lit up or inspired about for your life, or to anchor in and embody and express like all of this beautiful energy that you're holding now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited to get to my kids. Like I said, I saw them last night on FaceTime, and I looked at them with such a healed view. I feel like I've been such a wounded mother because of the trauma that I've experienced, and I've placed that trauma on them to carry. And, in my journeys, I was able to ask for their forgiveness and have them with me. And so I'm so excited to get home and give them the most pure and divine love that they deserve. And not just them, but anybody who comes in my path, uh, regardless of if they show me the love and grace that I hope to have. Um, I can show them that love and grace, and I can be at one with myself, knowing that I gave that, you know? And just, I'm excited to see what my journey looks like from here. I was telling Whitney today that, every little pain, and I've been at this healing for about 10 years, really intensive treatments and therapy modalities and pharmaceuticals. There have been times that I've been on 10 medications, antidepressants at a time. And in 3 days, it changed everything.
Wow.
And the healing journey has been very hard. And all the things that led to that journey were even harder. And I'd do it all again just to relive the last 3 days. And so, for anybody that's thinking about it, be brave. Be brave and be strong.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so moved. Like when we heal ourselves, the ripple and the ramifications, the impact for future generations, for your children to, like, in you ends like a whole lineage of trauma. And now you're showing up as this clear space of just pure love and devotion for your children, and the impact that will have on them, to have that, to know love.
Yeah.
Like, we are the ones who show the future generations what love is, how love acts, how it behaves, how it treats others, how it treats self, that reverence and that love. And I'm just, especially like, you're such an extreme case and such an extreme triumph, because you've been through unimaginable depths of hell, darkness, abuse, like, and to be sitting in this space that you are now, just like, you are luminous. Like, you are just,
I feel it,
beauty itself. Like, your heart, your love, your energy, your light. I mean, it's such an inspiration that no matter how dark things may seem, no matter how much hardship you've been through, there is always hope, and 100%. Healing is possible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you feel inspired to express? Any message to your future self, your past self, the audience listening?
I would say, my past self, just thank you. And my protectors, to my protectors, they so fiercely protected me for so long, and I was able to, it was a dance for a long time. Like, okay, you got to move this way for me to move like this, and we struggled for a long time. And I just am so thankful for those parts who protected me for
Mm.
so long. And now I get to drive the bus or fly the plane, you know what I mean? And be the one in control of, okay, like my parts are now the flight attendants. And so I'm able to ask them to step aside when I need to tap in to that deep trauma, when I need to go back, when I need to access those painful things, or, access this to remember. Um, I think, to my future self and to anybody who's considering, we are our biggest limitation, no matter what happens to us. Our mind and our heart and the divine is so much more powerful than any collective of things that can happen to us. And if we're willing to put in the work, if we're willing to do the hard and scary thing, we can see how beautiful and divine that is. And so just be brave. Be brave, because in that braveness you learn how to rebirth, you learn how to thrive. And that's what life should be, is thriving. And it can be that way.
And this terminology is from IFS, Internal Family
Yeah.
Systems. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think IFS, for anyone listening, read every book, find a practitioner.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful,
Yes.
complementary therapeutic paradigm that goes hand in hand with psychedelics.
Yes.
And so with those protector parts that you're so conscious, you're so aware of, how was that process with these very powerful medicines to just really be in full surrender and, you know, that letting go, which does require so much courage to let go, to enter these altered states where our ego doesn't have the same grip of control. And I would imagine, with all that you've been through, having Whitney as a trusted friend and a female facilitator, it probably made it a little bit easier to surrender, because you knew you were in good hands in such a vulnerable space.
Yeah, I think, and everybody who facilitated, it's just, that makes, I think, a world of difference, because it is taken so sacredly, and it is such an honor for all of you to be there serving. And I think that makes all the difference. And so I think that helped, those protected parts of me, to help feel safe. And it was hard to surrender. And at the beginning of my journey, like I said, I saw dark parts of myself. And the way that my journey started was almost like, because I was trafficked, it was adult me, but kind of like I'm on the outside looking in of being a trafficked or a sex worker, at this present time. And just symbolically, I think, given the trauma I've been through, but my body was covered in all these labels of things, of like not enough, or only good for this, or all these things and labels that I had put on myself, or others had put on there, or maybe my parts had put there, like don't trust, or keep your walls up, things like that. And so as soon as I started feeling that darkness, I wanted to follow it. And so I started to follow it. And as soon as I started to follow it, it was almost as if my protectors just, they blew into like a kaleidoscope of colors. And next thing I knew, I was almost unzipping that skin. I was shedding that skin of me working and only being good for sex or other things that I've always felt like that's my worth and value. That's what it's weighted in. And, I slipped that skin off, and I could see myself, and I was just this divine light, and I felt Whitney there, and I told it after, like, are you Mother Earth? And like, are you Mother Nature? Like, it just all connected so beautifully for me, that there are so many powerful influences of women in my life, beautiful influences, and even strained relationships with like my birth mother and other things. I was able to see her in her most divine presence and healed self, and I just felt like I had so many of my ancestors there as well, breaking those generational trauma bonds and things. And it was just as soon as I was willing to follow that scariness and look at it, okay, Kinsey, like you're beautiful, but you're hurting. Why? And as soon as I looked in, it was like I said, just shed it. I just shed that skin, and then the protector is just a kaleidoscope of colors, and that's when the whole process of rebirth started. And it was from the beginning, the moment of conception with the divine. And so I I had to honor them and acknowledge them, I think, for what they were. And, even though I had all these negative connotations or things all over my body, I was also able to see that 32 years in and I'm still standing here and I've endured so much. And those protectors are what got me here. Was my skin covered in labels and marks or whatever? Yes, but they got me here. And it was almost like it was their time to take a step back and to rest, you know? And so they're still a big part of me, but they've done their job and now I can do mine.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's some golden IFS work right there.
I know my therapist is going to be proud.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just having access to that deeper, higher perspective
Yeah.
of being able to really bear witness to all the multi-dimensional
Yes.
complex aspects of self and the psyche, the persona, all the, just being able to really bear witness and simultaneously have that elevated, like transcendent perspective of
Yeah.
like, I am unhooked. I am more than all my thoughts, all my emotions,
Yes.
all my stories. Like, I am infinite.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just so liberating.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And going forward, is there anything that you feel called, um, any tools or practices or anything that you feel will be really crucial to help you remain unhooked,
Mhm.
remain in that elevated
Yeah.
state of awareness, of
Yeah.
deep love,
Mhm.
like from here on out, how to carry this
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that. I've loved even the small integrations of like getting outside and grounding our feet every day for
Yeah.
5 minutes and just like there's so many scientific benefits behind grounding, right? And so that's a huge part. And I loved our audio journey with psilocybin yesterday with Patrick, right?
Mm.
And I think is it Ram Dass? Is that his name? Sitting around the fire.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I listened to that last night when I was in bed and just wept,
Yeah.
And so I've started to fill like my Spotify with things like that and just I want to write his whole sitting around the fire down in my journal.
Mm.
And there's a line and I can't remember exactly what he says, but it reminded me of what you said on I think the first day you were here that a cave can be dark for thousands of years and it just takes one little spark and the whole thing is illuminated.
Yeah.
And in his sitting around the fire meditation track, he talks about how a lot of us feel like we're nothing but ashes, but if we dig through the ashes and find just one ember,
Mm.
it's just so similar. And it's like
Mm.
that's all it takes. We don't
Mm.
need to like do these profound, huge things of like, okay, well, I experienced A as a child, so I'm going to go and save the world. It's like, no, I experienced this as a child, so I'm going to get up and I'm going to show up for my kids and I'm going to choose not to be triggered by
Mm-hmm.
this. Um, and those small things are big, big things and turn into this big, beautiful fire. And so I would love to continue to add on to my meditative practices for sure. And then gratitude, just giving so much gratitude to the divine and to this experience and to the people in my life, even the people or even the spiders that scare me, that there's so much gratitude to be given, even to the person who cut me off, because all things are happening for us. They're happening for us to be better, to be closer to the divine, and really allowing for each moment, each experience, each conversation, relationship, whatever, to learn what it is there that is happening for me. So, yeah. And I can't wait to come back. I'm very excited. It was an honor of a lifetime to be served in this space. Beautiful. It couldn't have been better. Yeah.
So in the aftermath, in the aftermath of all the healing, what remains left is the celebration. You know, the heaven on earth, the party, the joy, the celebration, and just bringing that, you know, fun back into life, like breathing life back into life. Yeah, enjoying every day, making the most of it. You know, whatever's your thing, singing, dancing, playing.
It's like I said, I was listening to music in the shower, and it was just my regular Spotify playlist, and I'm like crying in the shower, happy tears. I'm like, this is so beautiful and bold and brilliant and wonderful, you know, and even the sun just beating on my back, and just, I'm so excited to, like you said, just celebrate to be given another day, or another few minutes or a few seconds to take everything in that is, which is all a gift.
I have just like full body chills. And I mean, you are like the living testimony of the resilience of the human spirit.
Thank you.
You know, all that you've been through, all that you've endured, and you sitting here just like beaming. It gives me so much hope. It gives me so much hope for humanity, and just your resilience, and that you're the ember, like the little spark of your soul, your love. It was not smudged out, even though it seems like there were 1,000 instances and 1,000 reasons. But yeah, to see that fire and light beaming through you, I'm just really humbled and so honored to have met you and to share this space with you. And I can't wait for us to just keep celebrating and dancing and creating heaven on earth and just sharing the most beautiful moments. So thank you so much for your courage to show up.
Thank you.
And to share your story. Yeah, you're so courageous, because I know probably many other women who've been through what you've been through are in a prison of shame. And you just really have stepped into this space of I feel like your whole throat chakra is wide open, like you are just speaking your deepest truth fearlessly, with so much courage to share the most vulnerable aspects of yourself. And I just honor you so much.
Thank you. It's been an honor. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
Thanks. It's been beautiful.
Aww.